Taxonomic impediments. Introduction: impediments in taxonomic collection and maintenance. Shortage of manpower, lack of funding for taxonomic research. Taxonomic impediment. Conservationists, ecologists, biodiversity scientists, lawmakers, and many others rely heavily on taxonomic information to manage, conserve, use, and share our biodiversity. The worldwide shortage of this important taxonomic information, the gaps in our taxonomic knowledge, and the shortage of trained taxonomists and curators to fill this need has come to be known as the taxonomic impediment. The importance of the taxonomic impediment was recognized by the Convention on Biological Diversity signed at the 1992 Rio Earth Summit, and initiatives have occurred that have not yet solved the problem. The taxonomic impediment describes the gap in knowledge in our taxonomic system, the shortage of trained taxonomists and curators, and the impact of these deficiencies in our ability to manage and use our biological diversity. Aim: the Global Taxonomic Initiative promote necessary steps to remove taxonomic impediment. The removal of this impediment is absolutely essential not only for discovering and understanding the world's biological diversity but also for global efforts to conserve our biodiversity. Global Taxonomy Initiative. Global Taxonomy Initiative is a cross-cutting program developed by CBD to address taxonomic impediment, underpins the conservation of biological diversity. The main aspect of GTI is to ensure that the taxonomic information is given to the taxonomists, decision makers, and non-taxonomists. Darwin Declaration led to the development of GTI by a meeting in the group of experts held in Darwin, Australia in February 1998 was sponsored by the CBD, the GEF, and the Environmental Australia and the Smithsonian Institution. Reasons behind taxonomic impediment: shortage of manpower, lack of funding for taxonomic research, lack of training in taxonomy, lack of library facilities, impediments for building up taxonomic collection and its maintenance. First, impediments for building up taxonomic collection and its maintenance. Taxonomic collections have been developed through hard field oriented efforts by professionals and amateur taxonomists. These collections are seat of permanent information storage and unique scientific record of biological diversity of organisms. Uses of taxonomic collections serve as a ready reference for scientific research and accurate identification of organisms. The collection of specimens represent a record of genetic and morphological diversity. It provides information about the extinct species. This collection provides fundamental information about various aspects of human enterprise, including agriculture, health, pollution control, and conservation. Taxonomic collection form the basis of taxonomic studies such as description of new species, revisions, dichotomous keys, preparation of checklist maps, and monographs. Impediment for building up taxonomic collections. Till the recent past, taxonomic collections were considered a non-functional storage of dead specimens by taxonomists of taxonomists' hobby. There is a group of ignorant intelligentsia fail to appreciate the importance of the preservation of taxonomic collections. At some times, individuals representing conservation enforcement agencies in their over-enthusiasm for conservation place impediments in building up collections of organisms by genuine researchers of taxonomy. The misconception that collecting specimens of flora and fauna for systematic studies will cause extinction. Then significance of taxonomic collection for determining ecotypes, biotypes, sibling species, ecological races, etc. Collecting samples from different localities is a prerequisite for in-depth taxonomic studies. The main principle should be that bona fide taxonomists must be permitted to collect and freely exchange specimens for taxonomic research. Every step should be taken to ensure that national and international legislations does not impede these activities of the taxonomist. All should understand that taxonomy is the foundation for all meaningful research in biology must be committed to the protection of taxonomic research from unique legislations. And shortage of manpower. In the second meeting of the Conference of Parties to the Convention, the biological diversity identified a lack of taxonomists as a significant impediment to the implementation of Convention at the national level. Today, when the need of a taxonomic stock taking of Earth's biodiversity is becoming increasingly urgent, the number of bona fide taxonomists is declining. The fauna and flora of the world where the number of taxonomists has not increased much even after 78 years, and this few are confronted with several millions of species, whereas non-taxonomist researchers have disproportionately increased several folds. Then, so there is no wonder if large percentage of determination is left with only genetic name. Determination is left only with generic name, and many species names end up with a question mark. The number of taxonomists and the resources at their disposal are certainly inadequate for the magnitude of task before them. Most of the world's taxonomists are based on North America and Europe. In developing countries, specialist taxonomists are very few, and among these, most are not suitably trained in taxonomic theory and practice. This is a critical problem that needs to be addressed on a worldwide basis. And the crisis of taxonomists. Taxonomists are mostly employed in museums, herbaria, universities, and some government departments. Thus, in most countries, employment of taxonomists are heavily dependent on government funding that supports such institutions. Enough employment opportunities are to be created in every country for taxonomists. Though a country cannot afford to employ a large number of taxonomists, all of a sudden, yet at least an attempt has to be made in this direction. Lack of funding for taxonomic research. Finding financial support is one of the most important problems in the field of taxonomic research. Funding agencies or universities should earmark enough funds for taxonomic research. Students can be given enough scholarships and fellowships for taking up the research in taxonomy. In addition to this, enough funds should be set apart for taxonomists to visit international centers for research. The way forward will be inevitably involve a combination of new funding, greater efficiency, clearer priorities, and difficult decisions. Solutions to overcome impediment: improve international coordination, development of taxonomic centers, need for efficient international networking.